Hi, everybody. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. We've got Rob, our favorite mental health group leader.
There we go.
Just
That works.
blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Word salad.
Okay. Facilitator. There we go. If
Yes.
I actually read the thing on the bottom, it would actually tell me what to say. That would be smart, and that's no good. Anyway, so how you been?
I've been doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Been we've been making a lot of headway with the group. Back in July, we celebrated 2 years as a group, so that's a big achievement. And just in August, we had our 100th meeting. So things are
Wow.
looking up. We're still getting steady. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, we're getting a steady flow of guys coming in every week. We're
So steady intake kind of thing.
yeah, that's exactly the word I was looking for. Steady intake.
Okay.
We got a bunch of regular guys who come by. Of course, we're under confidentiality, so I'm not going to name names. So, but
For sure. So you won't tell me
I,
if my husband shows up, is what you're saying.
exactly. But I'd be the only name that I mentioned. But yeah, it's a really good group, and we're getting not every week, but we're getting new guys coming in, which is really great. Although I will have to probably go on a tangent here in a little bit, but we I'll tell you about it, but it's again coinciding with our confidentiality agreement with the group,
Absolutely.
so I'm not going to give any names.
Yeah.
But something is not necessarily something that happened during the group. It's just the story that one of the fellows told when he came this past Monday was that the way he described it to me is that people forced him to come to the group. That is not what I want. I don't want people
No.
forced to come to the group. I
No.
want them to come of their own free will. So that
Mhm.
really didn't sit well with me. I'm still glad he came, and
Yeah.
hopefully he comes again next week. But
Yeah.
if you're forcing people to come to my group, don't. I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Please just
putting that out there. Please do not force people. If he wants to come, he will come. That's
absolutely.
when Jason and I started the group. That's one of the first things that we realized is that we can't force people to come. We can't
Hmm.
force someone to say go to this group. They've got to be willing. They've got to want the help, and that's what we're there to provide, help. We're there to
Hmm.
provide a discussion. Like our
Hmm.
motto is break the stigma, help a brother out. That is
Yeah.
all we're about. Listening non-judgmentally, empathy, actually listening and providing not so much providing solutions, but pointing people in the right direction to where hopefully they can find the solutions eventually.
Right. Right.
So
So when this guy was forced to come,
mhm.
while he was there, did he seem like he had been forced, or did he
He
kind
did.
of
He
go?
did. He
Oh,
seemed
did he?
really. He seemed really agitated. Not at us. Not at us. I
Right.
got that. But it was more like agitated with the situation. Like by the end of the
Mm.
group, he was actually feeling a little better because for the majority of the group, he was kind of hunched over like this, like head down a lot. And by the end, he was more kind of like sitting back in his chair. So you could see a really big shift. That's one of the things that we saw a lot or heard a lot in the beginning of the group is that we've had guys coming in like this and they're jittery and on edge and it's like,
Yeah.
and then as the 2.5 hours progressed, you just kind of see them just go. So
That has to feel good,
that's a really good feeling. That is a very
isn't it?
good feeling.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if anybody was watching the last time we were on, um, I'm by myself because it's just me in charge of the group now. Because back in June, my co-conspirator Jason, he actually handed the reins of the group over to me solely, and our secondary facilitator, he got a new job, and it was taking more of his time, and he has a new girlfriend as well, so that was
Mm.
taking a lot of his time. So
Those
he,
girls,
yeah,
icky.
right. Um, But he said, with the new job, I just can't commit full time to being facilitator. I'll still be part of the group, but as part of the facilitator goes, I have to step down. It's like, yeah, okay, no problem. You're leaving me in the lurch because Jason backed out too. But
Yeah, you do you, boo.
yeah, but I was able to find a new secondary, so things have been humming along really well with him.
Okay,
We've been
good. Oh, that's
it
great.
it was it's funny because when last year ended, we took a little bit of a break.
Hmm.
So I have a book that I keep with me at the
Hmm.
group. It has like dates and names of people who came. So when I was looking from January of last year to December of last year, I was looking through the book and counting out how many men came to the group. And I think I counted out 40, 46 or 47.
Nice.
I don't remember for sure how many came. I'll have to look through my notes again. So
Hmm.
when we came back this year, I had a goal of I want to have 50 guys. Doesn't have to
Yep.
be new guys. It could even be, regulars. It's like just from the
Hmm.
start of the year, it was clean slate. So
Yep.
50 guys in total I want to come to the group. As of last Monday's meeting, we are I am at uh, 42 guys have come this year.
Ooh,
So just need
excellent.
7 more to hit that 50 mark. So,
That's right.
and even if I don't hit that 50 mark, I'm happy with what we've done so far. So
Yeah. Well, you need a
it's not
place
going to
to
be one of
aim,
those things.
right?
Exactly. It's not going to be one of those things I'm going to look at and go, oh, I wish I got that 50. No, I am so happy that
Well, for
uh,
sure.
40. I'm not going to include myself, but 40, 42, 41 guys came
Hmm.
to at least one meeting during
Hmm.
2024. So I consider that a
Yeah.
success. Success.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. So when you said you stopped for the season, was it like summer you took off? And
No,
that's
it was after it was during Christmas before
oh,
the new year.
okay.
We have run, with the exception of one week, we have run every week this year.
Wow.
So,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
we're gonna continue doing that because when I was looking through the calendar before the year started, I saw that Christmas falls on a Wednesday this year, and usually last 2 years we took that week off. But since Monday is like the day before Christmas Eve, it's still a regular day.
Yep,
Why don't we go all year?
that's right.
Uh, I I,
Absolutely.
I talked talked to Jason about this when he was still part of the group. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, we're going every
Yeah,
week this year. We are not stopping
that's excellent.
because
Oh, that is
mental health doesn't
excellent.
stop.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
So
No, I have to say that I have had 2 shows a week every week since January 1st.
mhm.
So you are number 76. This episode is 76. Um, Mental health does not take a break,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
connection does not take a break. Like we
Mhm.
need to interact with people. Todd, for example, just showed up. And he's just headed to bed. He wants to say hi. Hi, Todd. Nice to see you. Rest well, my friend.
Do you need your
He
rest?
will be on Tuesday, the 24th. So he is an artist who makes things with resin.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and he has a new YouTube channel called Makers with Matrix Rabbit. So yeah, it's he's got a lot going on as well as some health issues. So
Mhm.
we'll be talking about that on Tuesday. So yeah, I'm just really grateful that he showed up. That's great.
Sure.
So yeah, so what else has gone on with you over the last oh, when were you here?
I think that was
Like
back in April.
I was gonna say April or May, wasn't it?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Other than the group, mm, have my YouTube channel going. Got a gaming podcast that I do with 2 of my friends.
Ah.
Had the wrestling thing going for a little while, but that's kind of come to a not a screeching halt, but kind of a standstill right now. We're
Oh,
not even
why is
training
that?
anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just some stuff going on behind the scenes. It's just
Do you still have a ref?
no.
Okay, I'm not surprised then. A
No,
little hard to
he
do wrestling
yeah, he
without
quit. Well,
reffing.
we have a
Yeah.
ref, but the ref I think you're thinking about, yeah, he quit.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's too bad. He really enjoyed it.
he did, but he's still working with another company. But
Okay,
I won't talk about his life because he's not here.
that's right. That's very fair. Very,
Exactly.
very fair. Yep. Yeah. No, but the wrestling that you were doing with it was with PPW, Prairie Professional
Uh,
Wrestling. Is that right?
Prairie Pro Wrestling is the one he works with. I work with BEW, Best Entertainment Wrestling.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So you work with my friend Chris. So
Worked with Chris.
worked. Yes,
Yes.
he's no longer there.
He is no longer there. Another thing I won't get into at this point, but
Exactly. Yeah. I might have to have Chris on so he can talk about it. Uh,
oh, if he's on, oh, let me know. I want to watch that.
hey, you guys can be on together.
Yeah,
The Chris that we're
I would
talking
say
about
no.
is a fellow I went to high school with way back in the day in Nipawin.
Yeah, I was
So,
thrilled when I heard that one.
yeah,
But yeah,
it
Chris is
was,
a good guy, and I
he
would
is a
gladly be on the
good
show with him.
guy. Yeah. Yeah.
We actually went out for lunch together just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he came into
Nice.
Saskatoon. We went to the food court in Midtown. It was
Yeah.
nice, a good time.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. He's kind of one of those guys you like being around,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's just a chill, happy. He's not full of, well, he's full of angst when he's talking about his former job.
Hmm.
But yeah, anyway. So, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So, what are your plans for the group? What have you got
Expand.
besides your 50 goal?
Size 50
What?
goal, expand, and just keep doing what we're doing. It's working,
Okay.
so why not? You know, my my big thing is that it's quality over quantity.
Yes.
I
Yep.
don't, there have been weeks where we've had 4 guys show up, and
Mm-hmm.
that's including me, and
Mm-hmm.
we've had some great conversations.
Yeah.
This past week we had 9 guys show up, and it was a great conversation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple of weeks, no, not even a couple of weeks ago, last week. For those who don't know, September is Worldwide Suicide Prevention Month, and last Tuesday was Worldwide Suicide Prevention Day. So the Monday
Oh,
before that
wow.
was a group night, and we had a huge talk about suicide. It was just that's the reason why I got into doing this.
Right.
Why I wanted to start the mental health group, men's mental health group,
Right.
for a place for guys to come and talk about things like this, because
Mm-hmm.
it's getting better, but there's still such a huge stigma around
Oh,
men's
yeah.
mental health, and
Absolutely.
it's just a shame to see that you know men are still being forced to stuff it down and not talk about it. And
Yeah.
you can't. Oh, thank you for that lower third there
Yeah.
with 988
Oh,
um,
yes. Absolutely.
or
The
988.
988. Yeah. The 988, for those of you who don't know, in both US and Canada, is the suicide prevention hotline. So if you feel that you're in a crisis and you're not at the point where you're physically bleeding out or need an ambulance right then and there,
911.
911 is for that.
Mm-hmm.
988 is for the time when you know that you need to be talked down
Yep.
and you're open to it.
I
And, like that's something that it's essential. And like Rob was saying, men get so stigmatized. Like
They do.
boys don't cry, right? And
Exactly. Boys
yeah.
don't cry. Man up, which is something I'm so tired of hearing.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
is it is not unmanly to talk about your feelings. Not at
No.
all. You know, one of the things we heard early on in the group was somebody,
Hmm.
I can't remember who, and even if I did remember who, I wouldn't say because confidentiality.
Yeah.
One of the things that we heard early on was someone said something along the lines of, let it out before it takes you out. And I like that so much I had to write it down so I could remember it. It was like
Absolutely.
that just really stuck with me. It's like, let it out before it takes you out. I love that. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so true. It is so true. We are told, or we were told, because I know there was a lot of guys older than me. We're told, bottle it down, bottle it down.
Yeah.
What you said, men don't cry, and that's such. I'm trying so hard to curb my swearing here, but it's such
Do you know what? We're
BS.
not monetized. Feel free. Go for it.
It is
Let her rip.
such BS to hear things like that. Men don't cry. I was I was coming out of that generation of men don't cry. Stuff it down. I was told by my mom, it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to express yourself. It's okay to cry. It is absolutely 100% okay to cry.
Mm-hmm.
I am telling you that right now. It is
Mm-hmm.
perfectly fine. But I know that there are older generations who still hold on to that. It's like, no, it's time to let that go.
Yeah.
It's time to be like Elsa from Frozen. Let it go.
Let it go.
But
Yeah.
I love that movie, so
I
I'm
think
not
I've only ever
I am
seen it
not
once.
ashamed to admit I love Frozen.
Yeah. One of my best friends in high school was a guy who absolutely loved The Little Mermaid.
God, that's a great movie. I fully I fully admit that growing up in high school when I was a teenager, I was a drama geek, big
Yeah.
time drama geek.
Yeah. Well, he was
So
into redheads. So, yeah.
fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where it is manly to cry. It's manly to
Yeah,
like
exactly.
comics. It's manly to like, all of these different things. A few days or a couple of weeks ago, we had Josh on.
Mhm.
And for those of you who may recall, he has Klinefelter's disease.
Yes, you were
And
talking about
that's
that before the
a
show.
double XY chromosome. And it's on the 45th or 46th chromosome or something like that. And throughout his life, he would have been bullied mercilessly because of what it does to the manly parts of the body. And if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it because he really exemplifies what a man really is.
Yep.
He is strong. He is mentally strong. He is loving, kind. His wife and daughter, just the moon is hung by him. And yeah, it's a wonderful thing to be able to see that manliness doesn't have to be what used to be stereotypical,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because manliness, it's what was manliness like 30, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the things we even talked about this in the group a couple weeks back. Is like manliness is different for everybody. Yes, there is that era of toxic masculinity, but
Mm-hmm.
masculinity isn't inherently toxic. Is
No,
one of the things we
not at
talked about.
all. Yeah.
So it's
Studies have
okay to be a
shown,
man, but it's also okay to cry.
yes, studies have shown that children do better with a masculine figure in their life, whether
Hmm.
it be a very butch woman, whether
Hmm.
it be a dad, whether it be somebody from Brothers and Sisters, uh, like Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Saskatoon, or whatever city you're in, or whatever. They really do well with that firm, strong, but
Hmm.
like you say, Rob, pliable and merciful, and
Yeah, exactly.
it's not something that has to be just you know an iron, an iron rod.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I was really lucky growing up because I had that typical childhood of the loving mother and the devoted protector father who,
Nice.
they would move heaven and earth for all three of their kids. So
Yeah.
I was extremely lucky growing up. Wasn't My dad wasn't an alcoholic. Never, my parents never abused any of us. So I consider myself really lucky in that situation. It's one of those things. As a kid, seeing all these news stories, I'm like horrified about hearing all these
Yeah.
things. Like, well, I thought every kid had the same childhood I did growing up. Now I I consider myself extremely lucky to have the parents that I had,
Mm-hmm.
who openly encouraged, you know, feeling what you're feeling. They were the first ones to install in me that it's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. And I mentioned that to every new member of the group too. Whatever you're feeling
Mm.
is valid, be it happy,
Mm-hmm.
sad, angry, whatever. Even if you're feeling
Hmm.
nothing, that's valid too.
Yep. Yeah,
So
that's your whole body turning numb
yeah,
so you can
exactly,
deal with something,
exactly.
and then your feelings can come back in time. But yeah, for right now, you may have to be numb
Yeah, exactly.
because it hurts too much to feel.
I spent like 2009 in a completely numb state with how bad my depression was.
Hmm.
I'll quickly get into my story because I don't think I talked about it last time I was on the show.
No, I don't think you did. So yes, please do, because
So
people are going to wonder, why did he start this group?
yeah, exactly.
So tell us about
So
your story.
quick, uh, I'll try to make it as quick as possible, but I won't try to leave out any details. So when I say I had the typical childhood growing up of the loving father, the devoted father, loving mother, I also had the typical childhood growing up of being bullied a lot when I was a kid.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that that itself left me with a lot of self-esteem issues that I'm still dealing with to this very day.
Hmm.
So I think that was kind of the start of it. But in 1999, my 20th birthday was also the same day of my high school graduation. So kind kind of awesome how that all played out. 20 years old and graduating from high school. One of the things I always
Beautiful
loved.
for grad.
Yeah, one of the things I always loved is that my birthday was the start of summer vacation. So I loved it.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
anyway, uh, I at this point in time, I was really into this one girl who I knew. Just I wanted my world to revolve around her. So I asked her to be my day for graduation. She said yes. Um, had She came out to dinner with my family and I went to the grad dance together, and then just I think it was a week later.
Hmm.
It was a week later. I got a phone call from my best friend, and he told me that him and her had started dating. So that was a really big hit to my self esteem as well.
And he knew how you felt about this girl?
He knew how I felt about her.
I'm sorry, but
And
that's a jerk move. Like, really? There's bros before hoes, but then again, there's also take your best friend into account. You know? So, yeah. Anyway,
so that
yeah.
I think that was the real beginning of my depression where it started because
Hmm.
I said that I've been dealing with depression all of my adult life, and I think my adult life started when I graduated high school.
Hmm.
So we flash forward a little bit to 2003. Through another best friend of mine, I met someone. Just again, I thought my world revolved around her. And then in December of that year, she broke up with me. So another big hit to my self esteem.
For sure.
So that kind of sent me spiraling back down.
Yeah.
Then we get 2003, 2004. My father passed away. Another big hit. And
Mm.
that was so unexpected.
Oh,
He went in
really?
for pretty much a routine surgery because he had an ileostomy bag.
Oh, okay.
So he went to have that removed, and he never came out of the hospital. So
Okay. Now,
he,
for people who don't know what an ostomy bag is, can you tell them what it is?
well, there's a colostomy bag and an ileostomy bag. Colostomy bag
Okay.
is more permanent,
Hmm.
but the ileostomy bag is only temporary because my dad had diverticulitis, so he had a good chunk of his intestines removed. So he had to have the ileostomy bag for a little while, maybe just a few months. So he was just kind of waiting on that call to have it removed.
Okay. So,
And
what
he
does an
was
ileostomy bag do?
basically the same thing as a colostomy bag.
People
It
don't know what
collects.
that is. They're wrong.
It, you don't use your intestines or your colon the same way as normal healthy people do. So you kind of have that hanging off the side of your body to collect all your waste. Let's
Yeah.
put it in nicer terms as possible because my dad had an ileostomy bag, and after my mom's cancer treatment, she had to have a colostomy bag.
Mm,
Um, she had to have a colostomy bag after that, and hers was
yeah.
permanent. So, well, permanent. I say that because she passed away in 2013. So,
Yeah.
But that's basically all it is. But the ileostomy bag was only supposed to be temporary
Mm-hmm.
because then his intestines would heal and he could go to the bathroom normally again.
Right. Good.
So he went to have it removed the week before Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
and had it removed. There's complications after complications set in to the point he developed a blood clot. I don't remember exactly where it went, but wherever it went, it turned out to be lethal, and he passed away in the hospital.
Ooh.
So that was kind of a hard day for the family. But it was
Yeah.
totally unexpected because
Wow.
I remember this so plainly. Is
Mm-hmm.
that we were all sitting around it. My sister, her husband, and myself were all sitting around at home, just waiting for my sister's kids to come back.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry,
That's okay. It's okay to cry.
I remember her oldest son coming in the door, and we were all standing there, and he could see the looks on all of our faces, and he was like, "Mom, Dad, what's wrong?" Or no. Sorry, it was just me and my sister. It was me and my sister because her husband went to go get their youngest son, and he walked in his my sister's oldest walked in the door, and he saw us, and he was like, "Mom, Uncle Rob, what's going on?" And we were like, "We got some devastating news for you, buddy." And I just remember him saying that it's not fair, and he was so right.
Oh
It was so
yeah.
not fair.
Oh
And
yeah.
then when his little brother walked in the door, just the tears running down his face because my brother-in-law told him when they were in the truck, and then you could just see it wasn't even hurt; it was a shattered look on his face
Yeah.
when he walked in the door. So
Mm-hmm.
there was that. Um, so that was in 2004. A couple months later, March of 2005, the same best friend who introduced me to that one girl that I had the relationship with for like 3 months introduced me to
Mm-hmm.
somebody new.
Oh.
So, oh God, and that's a story in and of itself as well. Oh my God.
We have time.
Oh
So tell us about
well.
the 3-month relationship. That's the
Oh, the
one
3 month
who
relationship.
left you at Christmas. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Not much to tell about that one. It was a good relationship for the
Mm-hmm.
3 months that we were together. But the bad part about it was it was a long distance relationship because she lived in Edmonton.
Yeah.
But in November of that year, she actually came to Saskatoon so we could visit and spend the
Nice.
weekend together, which was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposed to go to my friend's place to watch a WWF pay per view, but we ended up saying, "No, I think we're going to stick here, stick at home,"
Yeah.
and we just kind of sit and cuddle the rest of the night,
Nice.
which was really nice. And then
That's always
she
nice.
left the following Monday, and then I don't really know what happened
Hmm.
in December, but just something happened where just every communication breakdown on our part
Yep.
that wires got crossed or something, and then you add the fact that it was also a long distance relationship as well, and
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't help things a lot
Not at
either.
all.
So we had a big conversation, discussion, argument, and it ended with us just kind of going our separate ways,
Mm.
which was unfortunate. So,
Yeah. At least it was
but
mutual, right?
eh, kind of, sort of, not
Mutual-esque.
really.
Okay.
Kind of, sort of, not really. It ended bitterly, but there's a good side of this because after a couple of years, we got back in contact with one another and kind of put the past to rest, and
Nice.
everything kind of worked out for the best between the two of us. But
Oh, good. So are you friends now
so
still?
yeah, we are. We don't talk as
Nice.
much anymore, but to know
That's
that
okay.
that past is behind us, I'm okay with that.
That's
So
gotta feel really
it
good though,
does.
doesn't
It
it?
felt really good
Yeah.
to just talk about things and say, hey,
Yeah.
let's leave the past in the past and just go from there. And she was like, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
So then we flash forward to March of 2005. My friend who introduced me to the other girl,
Hmm.
he won a pizza and drinks night at Riley's. This is how far this goes back when
This is how
Riley's was
long
still.
ago. Got it.
Exactly. If you know
Yeah.
Saskatoon, you know Riley's was a big institution in the city for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So he was like, so I hope you don't mind, but I'm bringing another friend with me. I don't think his intention was to hook us up, but it just kind of
But if
happened.
it
If
happened,
it
oh
happened, it
well.
happened. Exactly.
Yeah.
And she seemed nice enough. So there was an immediate attraction between the two of us. So we started
Nice.
spending a little more time together. And then just a relationship formed from there, which I was happy with. My mom and my sister, that was a completely different story.
Ooh.
They didn't like her from the outset.
Why is that?
Um, how can I put this kindly? They felt I could do better.
Oh,
That's how they felt
okay.
about her. That that
All right.
I was punching down below my weight class. We'll put it that way. Uh,
I know people that I would say are in that situation.
yeah.
Yes.
Um, Another big factor was she lived in a trailer park at the time, so they kind of figured her as trailer trash,
Hmm.
quote unquote.
I've lived in a trailer park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was finding somebody I connected with on so
Yeah.
many levels, so I didn't
Absolutely.
care. But I think part of it was my mom saw it as somebody pulling me away from her, which
Hmm.
I know. I mean, there's going to come that time because
Absolutely.
I mean, there was a lot of good things that she did for me. Like we're going to get into the bad stuff here in a little bit, but
Hmm.
she got me because of her. I got a full time job.
Nice.
From there, I got my own apartment. Like, yes, we were
Mm.
living together at this point, but I got my own apartment at this point.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of good things that she did for me.
Hmm.
So on that point, I'm grateful for that. It got me
Hmm.
out into the world,
Hmm.
and for at least the first 2.5 years, maybe let's say, I did enjoy my job up until a certain point
Hmm.
because I liked the people that I worked with.
That's
I,
nice.
you know, there were a lot of good people that I worked with at that job. Uh, I worked for a debt collection agency
Oh
in the city.
wow. Okay. Okay.
So didn't want to say telemarketer because telemarketer and debt collections are two completely different things.
Very different. Yeah.
So,
Were you
but
the knee breaker?
no, not initially. I didn't start as a knee breaker because in the job that I applied for, we were told that we were the division for one of the bigger cell phone companies in the financial division for one of the bigger cell phone companies in the U.S.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
every time we went on a call, we were to address ourselves as we were part of that company.
Right.
So eventually, I went on to a different division that was the knee breakers,
Ooh.
but that
Okay.
I'll get into that in a couple minutes here. So there were aspects of my job that I absolutely enjoyed. Like I said, I enjoyed the people I hung out with at work. They were just such wonderful, caring people.
Hmm.
There were the times where one of our big things, like I need to show my nose. One of the big things about the job was that we had certain customer satisfaction goals that we needed to meet. I met every one of those goals consistently. There was there was very rarely a time where my assistant manager would come to me and say, "Hey, your quality assurance scores aren't where they should be." Every
Right.
time they came back, you know, assistant manager will come out of the office going, "Hey, we got some big news here. Rob has scored fives across the board for his customer assurance." So it's like I
That's
was good at my
obvious.
job. I may not have
Yeah.
gotten a lot of payments, but you know,
Eh,
whenever somebody would get a call back saying we're just following up with the call you took with Rob and how you felt he did, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to have somebody say, like the survey taker ask, on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give Rob? It wouldn't be out of the ordinary for somebody to say, oh my God, Rob, he was fantastic. I'd give him an 11 out of 5. But since I can only go out of 5, like 5 out of 5. He did so great. He knew my bill inside and out. He was so easy to talk to.
Nice.
And, hearing that made me feel good.
For
It's when
sure.
you got other calls with the
Oh,
people ranting and raving,
yep.
and you get, when you're doing outbound calls, the people ranting and raving, and it was just,
Hmm.
that didn't help my mental state either.
For sure.
Because I was telling Kim before we came on earlier, that my big issue with stress, I know everybody says, oh, it's so hard for me to deal with stress. When I get stressed, I get suicidal, just flat out,
Hmm.
which is why when people say, oh, haha, I can't deal with stress. No, I can't deal with stress.
Yeah.
I cannot. So, which is why I haven't had a job in over 10 years. Let's just say I can't do the math right now, but
Wow. That's close
I,
enough.
I mean, I'll get to this in a little bit, but I left that job at the collections agency in 2009, and that was the
Hmm.
last job that I held.
Hmm.
Before, if we're not counting the work I do with BEW,
Right.
because that's all under the table work, like not
Yeah.
anything shady or anything, but like that.
No,
But you get
but
paid
a
in cash.
T4 job.
Yeah, T4 job. Yeah, we'll put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
15 years.
yeah, yep.
Wow.
That math checks out. So yeah, so had that. So that didn't add to the mental health aspect of everything. But also at the same time, relationship was going very, very well. We were living
Good.
together at this point. We had, our occasional things that happened. The people we were renting through were kind of up our butts constantly about things and threatening us with eviction every couple of months. But
Oh my.
it was,
Okay.
nothing we couldn't handle, and they quickly rescinded everything. So,
Yeah.
so that goes on. Even at this point in 2008, financial stress is a thing at this point.
Hmm.
So my ex-girlfriend decided to get a job, which I was all for. You know,
Hmm.
I wasn't looking at things like, oh, well, you should go get a job. It was like, if you want to go get a job, go get a job. I'm perfectly fine with that. We can use the extra income. If you don't want to get a
Hmm.
job, I'm not gonna you your arm to get one.
Right.
It's kind of nice to have someone to come home to as well. So,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie there. It's nice to have someone to come home to at night. But if
Yeah.
you want to go get a job, absolutely go get a job. So she went and got a job doing cleaning at a grocery store near us. I won't name names, but so one day she came home from work and she was, in a good mood, happy. It's like, oh, you're seem awfully chipper after coming home from work. It's like, yeah, I made a friend. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. We have so much in common, and his name is. Oh, wait, did you say he? Excuse me, he. I never wanted to say that I was a jealous person, but I'm not gonna lie, I got a little jealous at that point. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it got to the point where I kind of thought about going to the store where they worked and having a little conversation with him, but I never did. So things progressed to an uncomfortable level with my ex and this guy. And maybe I should have said something sooner, but I didn't.
Hmm.
In February of 2009, everything kind of broke down.
Oh no.
Um, we had a huge fight after I got home from work, and it ended with her saying, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. We tried being roommates for all of 1 week, and that didn't go particularly well.
No.
So, and I remember this day as I can never forget the timing of it.
Hmm.
February 14th. Yeah,
Singles Awareness Day. Got it.
exactly. So we were never, even when we were together, we were never big on celebrating Valentine's Day.
Right.
So it was just, I was okay with that. So anyway, I sent her a message because I had to go get my bank card from her because we
Mhm.
didn't have a joint bank account. We were just using my bank account, which I admit was a mistake on my part. Shouldn't have done that, but oh well.
Mhm.
Lesson learned, moved on. I'm not doing that again
Yep.
if I ever get into a relationship again.
Yep.
So I go to where she worked and got my bank card from her, and I just flat out asked her because I was pretty clueless of everything at this point.
Mm.
Asked her if it would ever be a possibility for her and I to get back together again. She said no. Little did I know she was already dating the guy she left me for. Oh, I skipped over a big part. I am 75% certain that before she broke up with me, she was already sleeping with the guy. Like I can't be 100% certain,
No.
but it's always been there in the back of my mind that
Mhm.
because it was just something she said to me at the beginning of the relationship that kind of stuck with me the whole time and jumped out at me even more.
Okay.
So basically,
What was that?
she said if I get bored with you, I'm going to cheat on you. That should have been a red flag right away.
Oh yeah.
That I fully admit at this point, yes, it should have been a red flag, but I didn't care. This was somebody who was interested in me, and I wasn't gonna pass that by.
Oh my word.
So that's like I said, that kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
So, like I said, what I didn't know at that point is that they had already started a relationship. So I went home, went back to my apartment, and I started playing out different scenarios in my head. It's like, okay, I got a bunch of knives in a bathtub. But then another part of me said, oh, wait, well, no, if you do that, you're going to leave a huge mess for somebody to have to clean up after yourself.
Mhm.
Even me in my state, I was too concerned with other people.
That's but that stops a lot of people from
Yeah,
that particular
that
method.
should be a good thing, but that makes me find another method. And I found
Yeah.
that other method when I saw a bottle of Gravol sitting on the counter, and I proceeded to down the entire bottle.
Mhm.
That was that was a moment I'll never remember because,
Yeah.
well, I remember it clearly. I remember parts of it clearly. I don't remember everything, but there's a reason for that. So I downed the bottle
Mhm.
and just sat there on my computer because she was going to come after work, grab more of her stuff, and go because she was in the process of moving out at this point. So she was grabbing her stuff and then just in the most snippiest of tones go, well, are you going to help me or not? I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I go to stand up and my body just went like this, right down to one knee. I sank like a stone.
Oh wow.
She ran over to me and was like, are you okay? What's wrong? What's going on? What's happening? I couldn't say anything at this point. I remember, I vividly remember looking over to the counter, seeing that empty bottle of gravel and laughing. And she was like, oh, for F's sake. Got on the phone, called 911, then called my mother. I don't remember this. I
Mhm.
don't remember hearing this.
Mhm.
But from what my mom told me after I got out of the hospital, the first thing she said to my mom after my mom got to the apartment
Mhm.
was, "Well, don't try to blame this on me." Like the
Wow.
indignity. So,
What a heart that girl had.
oh, I know, right?
You
What
just
did I
want
ever
to
see in
reach
her?
in and tear it out. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure my mom wanted to.
I'm
I'm sure
sure.
my sister wanted to as well.
Yeah. Yep.
But there's kind of a funny story that goes along with that. But I'll
Mm.
get to that in a second. So I do remember bits and pieces. Like I remember I remember sitting down in my chair, and I was so whacked out at this point. I remember a paramedic holding up the empty bottle and saying, "Is this what you took? Is this what you took?" I'm thinking to myself, "Well, no shit, Sherlock, that's what I took," but I couldn't verbally say it.
Right.
So I remember, I think I remember standing up, and that's the last thing I remember. From what I had a talk with my ex afterwards. From what she said, my heart was just going, and
Oh, wow.
I was hearing music, like, which was the weirdest part. Well,
Okay.
all this was pretty weird, but so yeah, I don't remember getting on the gurney. I
Mm.
don't remember exiting the apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember getting to St. Paul's Hospital.
Mm.
I spent 3 days in St. Paul's Hospital that I don't remember,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember waking up, just laying there, looking up at the hospital ceiling, and the first thing I said to myself, "You loser, you can't even kill yourself properly." And then I looked over to my right side and I saw the restraints next to my bed. What did you do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To this day, I don't even remember. I don't even know what happened because my mother refused to tell me.
Wow.
She took that to the grave with her.
Oh,
So to
wow.
this day, I don't even know what happened.
Holy
I
moly.
can only I can only surmise I had like an Incredible Hulk moment during
Yeah.
everything. So I remember
Yeah.
waking up, my left arm was all bruised to hell, like
Oh,
where
my.
I had IV going through my hand right here, and it was just completely bruised. I remember for a good long while when I would walk, my legs would slow down, but if this makes any sense at all, my legs would slow down, but my upper torso would lead. So it
Mm.
kind of looked like I was walking with a hunch.
Mm. Okay.
So that was a pretty interesting thing. And I remember waking up in a diaper as well and a catheter. Oh boy, that was not fun.
No.
Not at all. So I was, after I got discharged from the hospital, I was on, I don't remember exactly what I was on because I was on, during this point in time, I was on completely different medications. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember if it was uh, Celexa I was on first. Maybe I shouldn't be giving names of medications, but one that the one that I took when I got out of the hospital left me curled up on the floor, just bawling my eyes out.
Oh, no.
So that was not a good fit for me.
No.
So when I went to see my doctor again, I went off those and went off something else that actually made me feel normal.
Good.
So it, because the first time I was on anything, I was on Paxil, and that made me feel like a zombie. Like I
Mm.
couldn't feel anything. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel any emotions.
Just numb.
Numb, exactly. Then after my suicide attempt, I was on that other medication. I'd have to go back through my medical history and see what I was on. But when I was on
Mm-hmm.
that medication, like I said, it left me on the floor, curled up in the fetal position, crying my eyes out.
For sure.
The other medication that I took that my doctor prescribed for me, that made me feel normal. So
Mm.
that was a big help.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so that was in 2009. I tried going back to my job like I was the week after I was out of the hospital. I tried going
Mm-hmm.
back to my job. Um, so oh crap, I'm mixing up dates because what I'm thinking of happened the week beforehand because that was the week of. So let's just rewind a little bit here. So
Okay.
14th, um, the 14th was the suicide attempt. So we backtrack to I want to say Tuesday. What was it?
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. It was no. The breakup. Right. Sorry, I'm still trying to connect the dots here. So it's the
Yeah.
breakup. The
Yep.
breakup was before the suicide attempt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the 7th of February that was the breakup.
Okay.
Yes, because I worked that day and I
Mm.
had Sunday, Monday off, went back Tuesday. Okay. We got to figure it out.
All right.
Okay. So the Tuesday, I went back to work, sat down at my desk, sat at my computer, and I broke down. I broke out crying. I didn't want to be there because
Mm-hmm.
I think something was telling me that I shouldn't be there. I didn't have to be there. So started work. Let's see, I was doing early morning shifts at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I started about 6 a.m. So 6:30,
Mm-hmm.
the unit manager came by and he said, "Who wants the rest of the day off?" Because they didn't have overtime available, so they were just letting people go home early.
Mm-hmm.
So 6:30, who wants the rest of the day off? I shot my hand right up. It's exactly what I knew I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And even before that, I put in for some vacation time. I had enough saved up. I figured if I took the rest of the week off, I should be fine. I'll still be getting a
Mm-hmm.
paycheck, so it's all good. So I even talked to him before that and said, I put in for vacation time. Is that going to be okay for this week? He said, yeah, no problem. Call me later and I'll let you know if it's approved. So I went home later that afternoon. I called him and said, hey, is it fine? He said, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Enjoy the rest of your week off. You'll be fine. So there's that. Then the Wednesday night, or no, that wasn't Wednesday night. That was that night. Tuesday night, I drank every bit of booze that was in my apartment.
Oh boy.
I was that bad.
Wow.
I didn't want to drink myself to death, but I just wanted to drink the pain away.
You wanted to
Is
drink yourself numb.
exactly, That's exactly
Yes.
what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I did that. Stayed up most of the night drinking. I don't advise that.
Because the next day's gonna suck.
Oh yeah, big time, big time. So then 14th rolled around, the attempt.
Mm-hmm.
So went back to work after that, and my mom actually got in contact with my employer and said, "Yeah, Rob was in the hospital. He had an issue with his heart." So she kind of lied for me, and I'll forever be grateful for her. Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's not wrong. I didn't have an issue
Technically,
with my heart.
that's
So,
right. It was broken.
but I only told one person the truth, and that was one of my closest friends that I had at work. And he said he just played up, straight up asked me, what's going on, man? What's happening? Took him to
Mm-hmm.
a side room, and I said, man, this is the situation. My girlfriend broke up with me the other week, and on Valentine's Day, I tried to take my own life. He was like, oh, dude, gave me a big hug. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, man.
Mm-hmm.
So then after that, I knew I couldn't do it. I called work and I
Mm-hmm.
asked them if it was possible to take a leave of absence. I didn't know that the leave of absence would be unpaid. So
Mm.
I wasn't getting paid at this point, but I still had enough in my bank account that I could survive off of it. Rent was
Right.
already paid, so
Right.
and I had my income tax coming up too.
Oh,
So
good. Okay.
that helps a little bit because I was still claiming my ex at this point because
Ah.
we even had a little discussion about that and seeing it was for the previous year we were still together. She was like, "Oh, don't claim me. You'll be fine." It's like,
Mm.
"No, I'm going to claim you." We were together that point, and I need the money. So after a while, there just came a point where leave of absence was about to come due, and somebody from the HR department said, "So what do you think? Are you ready to come back?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, ready to come back." And the day arrived that I was supposed to go back to work, and I just sat there in my chair at my computer, like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Get up. You got to do it. You got to do it. I just sat there. Eventually, they called and said, "You were supposed to come. What happened?" It's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I quit. It's like, okay, sorry to lose you. You'll get your last paycheck. You'll get your last paycheck when it comes due.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little bit more to go off of, at least for a little
Mm-hmm.
while. I got on EI for a little bit, and then that, yeah, everything just kind of fell apart after that.
Mm.
The people who I rented through were just complete. I will never. Well, I say I'll never rent through them again, but I'm pretty sure that my name is like on a blacklist somewhere from them, so I'll
Oh
never be
no.
able to rent from them again.
Okay.
So, yeah, that I eventually got evicted from the apartment, and they were just completely un.
Ass hat comes to mind.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
They were completely unwavering in anything that had to do. Like I told them that it's hard for me to get people to help me. Like the only person who will help me can't do it tomorrow. I have to come back next week. No, it has to be soon. It has to
Mm-hmm.
be tomorrow. I'm like, well, fine. F you then. Flip them off. And they said, don't bother coming back. It's like, okay, should have taken them to court. Didn't, but oh well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well. So I was able to stay with a friend of mine for a few months. Of course, he wanted me to find a different place to live, but he didn't want to push me out, which I'm thankful for. But
Right.
I knew that I had to find a different place to live because he was moving to Moose Jaw
Mm.
in August or September.
So you knew there
So
was a time limit.
I knew there was a time limit. So
Okay.
so the time limit was running out. So my friend who I talked about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
who went behind my back and started dating the girl that I wanted to date, they eventually
Mm-hmm.
got married, and so all of us patched things up. So I asked them if I could go stay with them at their place. They lived 45 minutes out of town, so they were like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Well, that became a problem because I fully admit in 2009 I had my head shoved so far up my rectum I couldn't see what was going on.
Mm.
The
Mm-hmm.
only person I cared about during that time period was me. I didn't I didn't care about anyone else. It was just me, me, me. And that was one of my big downfalls. So everything was fine and dandy for the first few months, but you could tell that things were starting to get tense.
Mm-hmm.
Money was becoming a big issue. And I totally get that. Like now I get that. That
At the
money was
time,
becoming
though,
at the time though.
your
No,
brain
I didn't.
was there. Yeah.
Also the fact they had two little boys.
Mm-hmm.
So that was also a big thing too because I was coming there with my cats,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what happened, but there was times where one of my cats, she'd snap and go completely feral
Oh. Oh
on just
no.
about everyone else but me. So that was a major issue as well because in November of 2009,
Mm-hmm.
somehow she got loose. She got up to the upstairs of their house, which they had blocked off, so the cats couldn't get up there.
Mm-hmm.
She got up there and she attacked their youngest son.
Oh
She wasn't bleeding.
no.
She didn't attack him to the point where she was bleeding or slashed him up or anything like that, but she chased him around their bedroom and not in a playful way either.
Scary.
Yeah, chased him and he fell down their stairs. And they have these gnarly looking stairs that lead up to their attic.
Mm.
So
Wow.
when they told me about this, she was in this little carrying crate, put put away under their stairs. I opened up
Mm-hmm.
the crate, I grabbed her by the scruff of the neck, and I was ready to throw her out into snowbank.
Mm-hmm.
I was done with her shit,
Mm-hmm.
but they convinced me, no, don't do that. I'm like, okay, fine.
Wow.
We'll take her to the SPCA, and they did, and that was the last I saw of her.
That's
Um,
rough.
just a few years later, I found out through one of my friends that the SPCA couldn't rehome her because she was so traumatized by everything.
Wow.
So she would snap, she would hiss and slash at the workers there, and they couldn't rehome her. So
That's very sad.
that is. But my other
That's
cat,
very, very sad.
yeah. But my other cat, she was actually very even tempered.
Oh,
She was just
nice.
this beautiful white cat. And there's a story behind that as well because we got the two cats when my ex girlfriend and I were together because I think somehow my ex girlfriend was jealous of our one cat because she would always be constantly be around me.
Oh.
So, and she kind of wanted it to be equal,
Mm-hmm.
but our one cat, our calico cat, would always be more towards me. So she
Mm.
was on this news group, saw a free cat. It's like, what do you think? Cool, let's go for it. She was just a beautiful white cat, just beautiful, beautiful white cat. But it started out pretty rocky. She was always
Mm.
hissing at us, swiping at us,
Oh.
and then she did get more and more used to the household. Like during her tentative time, I would just be sitting at the computer. I'd have my hand dangling down off my arm, off my chair,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
she'd come up and rub it and try and be friendly. And I'd look and say, "Oh," and then she'd skitter off, run away,
Yeah.
hiss and slash. So
Whatever you do, don't acknowledge me.
yeah, exactly.
I'm not really here.
So one day I'm getting ready for work. I'm either going to the bedroom or I'm going to the bathroom to brush my teeth, do something. She
Mm-hmm.
was walking out of the bedroom and we kind of had an impasse. She's
Mm.
looking down at me. She's looking up at me. I'm looking down at her. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make one more attempt to be friendly with you, cat. But if not, I'm booting your ass out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So I just reached down, put my hand near her face, and she just did this whole big, just started, doing that whole back arch with my hand. And I got down on the floor with her, started petting her. Picked her up in my arms, and she was just nuzzling right up against me. I'm petting her. I'm like, dear, dear, look over here.
Look at
Yeah, look at.
that. Yeah.
So, so the way it was supposed to be is that our calico cat was supposed to be mine. The white cat was supposed to be hers. It flip flopped where the white cat was mine and the calico cat was hers. I was happy with that because I
Yeah.
loved that cat.
Yeah.
She was after a while she was so sweet and so loving. So after everything that happened with my, so we'll get back to what happened with my friends and I because it was like
Yeah.
December, a couple weeks before Christmas. I'm sitting at their place watching TV when he went out, started his car, and then he started grabbing my stuff and putting it into his car. It's like, okay, what's going on?
Hmm.
He's like, this has got to end. Tomorrow I'm gonna take you to the city, but that's it. You're gonna go to the Salvation Army because we're done. We're done. We can't have any more. You're being a financial strain.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get it now, but I didn't
Fine.
get it back then.
Yeah.
So they went to bed. I am sitting in their living room and I am fuming.
Oh, for
Like
sure. Yeah.
it was a case of how dare you? How dare you do this to me? That's how far my head up with my own ass it was. How dare you do this to me? So it's like, okay,
Mm.
I know where I'm not wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I went. They had this big whiteboard. They had, they put chores on. It was blank at this point. And yeah, the message I left them was pretty threatening. I admit that. It was something to the effect of, I know what I'm wanted. Um, I'm coming back for the cat. She better be here or else. Something along those lines. So
Kind
yeah,
of
it
like
was
a
pretty
watch
great.
your back kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I went and they had a security alarm. I disarmed it because I knew how to disarm it. Um, and I left middle of the night, around midnight, I think it was. I left and I walked from their house in this small town that's 45 minutes out of Saskatoon all the way to Highway 16
Wow.
in December, minus 16.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here I am walking along the highway. Thankfully, there were a couple good Samaritans who pulled over and asked, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" It's like, "Head walking to Saskatoon." Oh, we'll drive you to Saskatoon if you like. Oh, I'm just going to say no at this point. Anywhere you want to be dropped off? Salvation Army on Avenue C. So they said, "Sure, we'll drop you off there." So they dropped me off at the Salvation Army, and they didn't have any beds available at that point. So I ended up walking to one of the stores that was open 24 hours for Christmas holidays at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat in their food court until Walmart opened up because that's where my mom was working.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, after it opened, I went to Walmart and I talked to her told her everything that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I hadn't slept for 24 hours.
Wow.
So I had nowhere to go. I was homeless at this point.
Hmm.
So I went into Salvation Army later that day and I was able to get a
Mm-hmm.
bed and I was homeless for the rest of 2009.
Hmm.
I got in contact with Ministry of Social Services.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was trying to get on Ministry of Social Services for the entirety of 2009 because I knew
Mm.
my employment insurance was going to run out soon.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, it was going to run out. So I was trying to get on the assistance program when it was still available at that point.
Right.
That's a whole nother story with the Saskatchewan income supplement program. That
Yeah.
could be another episode in itself because we're already over an
Yes,
hour now.
we are. Do you know what?
So,
Why don't I have you come back and we can hear the rest of the story?
as Paul, what was his name again?
Oh, oh,
Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey. That's what it was.
Paul Harvey. Good day.
So this is the rest of the story.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have
Yeah,
to do a part 2 of this.
absolutely. Are you available on the 3rd
3rd of October,
of
I
October?
believe so.
So basically in a week.
In a week. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll be available
Nope, in 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Yep. In a week, it's going to be Christina talking about dog training, etc. So
Yeah,
in
I'm
two
definitely
weeks,
available in 2 weeks.
perfect, awesome. I will have you there, and we will have Rob
Part 2.
the rest of the story,
Exactly.
2010 and on.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. There you are. You're right there.
There we go.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob.
You betcha.
I'm really looking forward to hearing what the rest of the story is because not only is it going to be still the trauma, but there's going to be healing at
Yes.
the end of that.
Exactly.
And I mean, hearing about trauma is always fun. It's always good for clicks and whatever.
Hmm.
But we're about healing, and we're
Yes.
about
They're
coming
obviously
out
they're
of
still
that
healing
hole.
if I'm here to talk about it. And we will get to
Well,
why the group exists as well. So,
exactly. That's
but
exactly it.
this is part of the reason why the group is around.
That's right. Yeah. So people who were in a situation like yours don't have to be there alone.
Exactly.
So
Exactly
yeah,
that.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Rob. Like Crystal
You're
says,
welcome.
thank you for sharing your story. Hi, Barbecue with Neil. I'm sorry I didn't say hi a few minutes ago. Um, But yeah, if anybody else has any questions or comments for Rob, I see that there's a few people who are watching now. Um, just give us a shout, let us know. For anybody who is dealing with depression or with suicidal ideation, anything like that, we are not monetized, so I can say that word. 988 in Canada and the US is suicide prevention hotline. 911 if you are in immediate danger. And in Canada, if you are a kid, if you're under the age of, I think, 21, there is the Kids Help Phone, which is 800 668 6868, or you can just text 6868. And somebody will be there to talk to you about what you need on your level, understanding your needs. And if you happen to call on, or if you happen to text on a Monday night, sometime between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you might get my daughter. She's one of the volunteers there.
Nice.
So, yeah, awesome. Yeah. She went into psychology because she knew how hard it was for me to find somebody qualified for my level of issues.
Right.
You know, because that's, what can I say? I'm a mess. But the good thing is, I have a team of friends, family, doctors, therapists, psychologists, pharmacists. That's the word I'm looking for. A whole pile of people that I rely on. And without any one of those, it would be really difficult. So get a team around you. If you have to, you can always email Rob if you're in the Saskatoon area, or even if you're not in the Saskatoon area, you do Zoom meetings.
Right
no,
now,
not so much anymore.
We don't have access to Zoom right now.
Okay.
But hopefully we'll have it before the end of the year. That all depends on CMHA.
Absolutely.
I won't knock them too hard because they've done so much fantastic stuff for us. But
yes.
Just recently through CMHA, I got my CPR certification. So,
oh, nice.
I did that this past Tuesday.
And if you would like to get in touch with me for anything, you can either find me on my Facebook, or you can email me at myotherskeeperis@gmail.com. So I will see you all on Tuesday. We will be talking to Tuesday, if I have my calendar handy. We will be talking to Todd, Matrix Rabbit, and we'll be looking at his art. And so I'm really looking forward to him. I'm hoping he's feeling better. He's not been feeling too well lately. So prayers, loves, hugs, and all of these good thoughts go out to him. And I will see you all later. Bye.